My name is Zariah, and for 12 years I flew combat missions under the code name FALCON 1. I'd logged over 3,000 flight hours in some of the most dangerous airspace on the planet. But apparently, that meant nothing to Marcus Brennan, the flight director at Skyline Aviation Academy. "Look, sweetheart," Marcus said, leaning back in his chair during my interview. "We appreciate your military experience, but teaching civilian pilots requires a different skill set. Real pilots only here." I kept my expression neutral. "I have the FAA certifications, commercial, instrument, multi-engine, everything you require." "On paper, sure," he replied, smirking, "but our students expect instructors with real-world civilian experience, not someone who followed orders in the sky." "Following orders?" I repeated carefully. "Mr. Brennan, combat aviation requires split-second independent decisions. I've navigated hostile airspace, managed mechanical failures at altitude, and trained dozens of pilots. That's not following orders, that's leadership." He waved his hand dismissively. Sure, but can you teach a nervous college kid how to land a Cessna? That's different from military stuff." "I've trained pilots in aircraft far more complex than anything in your fleet," I said. "I reviewed your curriculum. I could start tomorrow." "We'll let you know," he said, standing up. "Don't call us. We'll call you." I knew that tone. I'd been dismissed. My friend Rachel, who worked in the admin office, called me that evening. "Zariah, I'm so sorry. I heard Marcus after you left." "What did he say?" "He told the hiring committee, not hiring her. These military women think they're hot stuff. Our students need real instructors, not someone who'll go on maternity leave in 6 months." "He said that?" I asked, anger rising. "Word for word," Rachel confirmed. "And that's not all. He hired someone today, guy named Derek, fresh out of flight school, barely 500 hours logged." "You're kidding." I wish I was. Marcus literally said, "Derek's got potential, young, hungry, fits the program." "I'm documenting everything, Zariah. This is wrong." We met for coffee the next day. Rachel brought a folder. "I've been keeping records for 2 years," she explained. "You're not the first qualified woman he's rejected. There have been 8 others." 8? I stared at the documents. "All qualified?" "All more qualified than the men he hired instead. Look at this email from last month." I read it aloud. "Interviewed another female pilot today. Good credentials but wrong image for the academy. We need instructors who command respect, not diversity hires." "He writes this stuff down?" I asked, incredulous. "He thinks he's untouchable," Rachel said. "The academy owner is his old college buddy. Marcus believes nobody will challenge him." "What's his background?" I asked. Rachel pulled out another document. "Regional airline pilot for 6 years. Never flew anything more challenging than a 737 on autopilot. Lost his medical certificate due to high blood pressure. Couldn't pass the FAA physical." "So he couldn't hack it as a real pilot and now he's gatekeeping?" I said. "Exactly. He's been director for 3 years. In that time, he's rejected 22 female applicants and hired 15 men. The disparity is ridiculous." I thought carefully. "Rachel, if I pursue this legally, would you testify?" "Absolutely," she said without hesitation. "I'm tired of watching him destroy careers. Plus, he treats me like a secretary even though I'm the operations coordinator. I'm ready to fight back." "Then document everything. Emails, hiring decisions, anything he says about women pilots. We're going to need evidence." 2 weeks later, Rachel sent me 3 years of Marcus's emails. They were damning. "Women get emotional in emergencies. Can't risk it with students paying $15,000 for training. Hired Brian today. Only 400 hours, but he's got the right presence. Students respect male authority." I contacted my former commanding officer, Colonel James Martinez. "Colonel, I need advice," I said. "Civilian employment discrimination." "Falcon 1, what happened?" he asked. I explained everything. He listened quietly. "You need specialized help," he said. "Captain Sarah Chen just retired and became an aviation lawyer, handles discrimination cases. She followed your career. Every pilot knows Falcon 1. Sarah Chen's office overlooked the harbor. She was sharp and direct. "Show me what this idiot did," she said. I laid out Rachel's documents. Sarah read through them methodically. "This is textbook discrimination," Sarah said. "Marcus Brennan violated Title VII of the Civil Rights Act multiple times. Tell me about your interview." He called me sweetheart, dismissed my military experience, and said I wasn't a real pilot. "Rachel recorded what he said after you left?" The admin office phone's auto record for quality assurance. Rachel pulled the files. Sarah's eyes lit up. Perfect. What else? During my interview, I mentioned a flight simulation program I developed, a comprehensive training methodology for complex emergency scenarios. And Skyline Academy just announced a new program. The Brennan Method. Sarah, it's my program, every detail. He stole it. Sarah leaned forward. He stole your intellectual property? Completely. They're charging students an extra $5,000 for access to it. That's IP theft and fraud, Sarah said. With your permission, I want to destroy this man's career. What do you need? Interview Rachel officially. Reach out to the other women Marcus rejected. Document everything about your training program. We'll establish a pattern. How long will this take? We'll file within 60 days. But Zariah, this will get ugly. Marcus will fight back. Are you prepared? Sarah, I've been shot at by enemy combatants. I can handle one bully with a grudge. She smiled. That's what I wanted to hear. Over the next month, I contacted 5 other rejected female pilots. Jennifer Torres called me back immediately. Zariah, as in Falcon 1, Marcus rejected you too? He rejected all of us, I said. We're building a case. Are you interested? Absolutely. That man told me I should be a flight attendant instead. Said, you'd be better suited to customer service roles. Let the men handle the technical positions. He actually said that? To my face. I have 1,200 hours and an engineering degree. Michelle Zhao had similar experiences. Marcus told me, we need instructors who don't have family obligations. I'm not even married. He just assumed. Rachel provided recordings over 3 weeks. Marcus never watched what he said. Tell that pilot chick we're full, he'd said about one applicant. I don't care if she has an ATP license. She'll probably get pregnant and quit anyway. In another recording, Derek, you're doing great, buddy. Don't worry about the crash simulation. You've got the right stuff. Not like these diversity hires trying to weasel in. Sarah assembled everything into a comprehensive legal filing. We have systematic discrimination, intellectual property theft, fraud, and falsified credentials, she said. Falsified credentials? Derek doesn't actually have his commercial multi-engine rating yet. Marcus listed him as fully certified to students and the FAA. That's federal fraud. Also, Marcus has been embezzling money. The Brennan Method fees? He's pocketing them personally. Rachel has 18 months of bank statements. I shook my head. He really thought he'd get away with this? Arrogance, Sarah said. He's gotten away with it for years. Nobody challenged him before. Big mistake. He picked the wrong pilot to mess with. We filed simultaneously with the EEOC, the FAA, and civil court. Sarah also sent copies to Skyline's parent corporation and their insurance company. Marcus called me 2 hours later, his voice shaking with rage. What the hell do you think you're doing? He shouted. Exercising my legal rights, I replied calmly. You rejected me illegally, stole my intellectual property, committed fraud, and endangered students. Did you think there wouldn't be consequences? You can't prove anything. This is harassment. Marcus, I have recordings. Every discriminatory thing you've said, 22 rejected female applicants versus 15 hired men. Your emails explicitly stating you won't hire women. Your theft of my training program. The FAA has your falsified instructor credentials. I can prove everything. I'll fight this. I'll ruin you. You'll never work in aviation again. Really? Because I already have 3 job offers. Apparently being Falcon 1 opens doors. Who knew? Falcon 1? He laughed bitterly. That's just military propaganda. We'll see in court. Oh, and Marcus? You just threatened me on a recorded line. My lawyer will love that. Sarah called 30 minutes later, laughing. He just made this easier. Threatening you on a recorded line? Beautiful. The insurance company dropped Skyline's coverage this morning. The parent corporation fired Marcus 2 hours ago. The FAA suspended his flight director certification. That fast? The FAA doesn't mess around with falsified credentials. Marcus is done. The depositions were brutal for Marcus. Sarah was methodical. Mr. Brennan, you wrote in this email, women get emotional in emergencies. Do you stand by that statement? That was taken out of context, Marcus stammered. What context makes gender discrimination legal, Mr. Brennan? I didn't discriminate. I hired the best candidates. Sarah projected credentials on the screen. Zariah has 3,247 flight hours, 12 years of combat experience, and a perfect safety record. Derek had 480 hours, no multi-engine rating, and failed his instrument check ride twice. Explain how Derek was better qualified. Marcus's face reddened. Experience isn't everything. Derek had potential. He fit our program culture. What does program culture mean? He understood our teaching philosophy. Did that philosophy include having a Y chromosome? Because that's what your hiring pattern suggests. That's not fair. Neither is rejecting 22 qualified women while hiring 15 less qualified men. Jennifer testified next. Marcus told me, "You should be a flight attendant. Your smile would be wasted in a cockpit." When I mentioned my engineering degree, he said, "Teaching requires different skills. Maybe try the airlines instead." Michelle Zhao followed. He asked if I planned to have children. When I said that was inappropriate, he said, "I'm just being practical. We can't have instructors leaving for maternity leave. Our students deserve consistency." Rachel's testimony destroyed Marcus's credibility. Marcus systematically rejected qualified women while hiring underqualified men. He falsified Derek's credentials, stole Zariah's training program, and committed tax fraud. I documented everything. The FAA investigator was damning. We found 23 violations: falsified credentials, unauthorized curriculum, safety violations. Mr. Brennan's certificate is permanently revoked. We're recommending criminal charges. Marcus approached me in the courthouse hallway. "Zariah, please, can we talk? Maybe settle this?" "No," I said firmly. "I made mistakes. I'm sorry. Can't we move past this?" "You didn't make mistakes, Marcus. You made choices. You systematically discriminated, stole my work, committed fraud, and endangered students. There's no moving past that, only consequences." "You're being vindictive. This is revenge." "No, this is justice. There's a difference. You'll have 4 years in prison to learn it." His face went pale. 4 years? That's what you earned. The judge's ruling was comprehensive. Marcus was ordered to pay $847,000 in damages, split between me, the 5 other rejected pilots, and Rachel. My intellectual property settlement added another $200,000, plus ongoing royalties. But the criminal charges mattered more. Marcus pled guilty to federal fraud, tax evasion, and FAA violations. The judge's voice was stern. "Mr. Brennan, you abused your position. You systematically discriminated against qualified professionals. You endangered students with falsified credentials. You stole intellectual property. Your ego cost people their careers and dreams. 4 years in federal prison. Flight director certificate permanently revoked. Banned from any aviation-related employment upon release." Marcus's lawyer spoke up. "Your Honor, Mr. Brennan has no prior criminal record. We ask for leniency." "Leniency? He committed these crimes over 3 years. This wasn't a mistake. It was a pattern. Request denied." Marcus stood, his voice breaking. "Your Honor, please. Aviation is my life. You can't take that away." "You took it from yourself, Mr. Brennan. You also took it from 22 women who deserved their chance. Maybe you should have thought about consequences before committing federal crimes." As they led Marcus away, he looked at me one last time. I felt no satisfaction in his defeat, only justice. Skyline Aviation Academy's new director, Captain Robert Hayes, called me the next week. "Miss Zariah, I want to apologize for what happened under Marcus Brennan's leadership. It was inexcusable. We've cleaned house. I'd like to offer you the chief flight instructor position, full curriculum development authority, complete autonomy over hiring and training. We'd like to officially license your training program, properly this time with full compensation and credit. Can I think about it? Take your time. We'd be honored to have Falcon 1 leading our team." Rachel got promoted to operations manager. "Zariah, they tripled my salary and gave me a director title. They're hiring 4 new instructors, 3 women and 1 man, all supremely qualified. You earned it, Rachel. You stood up when it mattered." Derek reached out with a genuine apology. "Miss Zariah, I didn't know about the discrimination. I thought I earned the position on merit. Learning the truth has been humbling. I'm leaving to build my hours properly and get legitimately certified. I'm sorry I benefited from his bias." I appreciated that. I wrote back, "Derek, you can still be a great instructor. Just get your credentials legitimately and treat every pilot fairly, regardless of gender." Jennifer Torres joined Skyline's team. We became close friends. "Zariah, can you believe we almost let him win?" "He never had a chance," I replied. "He was fighting people who navigated combat missions. A courtroom was easy. I'm glad you led this fight. I might not have had the courage alone." That's why we stand together. No pilot should face discrimination alone. The FAA used our case to audit other flight schools. They found similar discrimination patterns at 6 other academies. Our lawsuit started a movement. Within a year, 3 more aviation discrimination cases were filed, citing our precedent. I eventually accepted the chief instructor position. On my first day, I walked into the briefing room where 30 student pilots waited. "Good morning. I'm Chief Flight Instructor Zariah. Some of you might know my military call sign, FALCON 1. I'm here to teach you how to be exceptional pilots, regardless of your gender, background, or circumstances. Excellence is the only requirement here. Questions?" A young woman in the front row raised her hand. "Is it true you have 3,000 combat hours?" 3,247, actually. And yes, every single one taught me something I'll share with you. What's your name? "Amanda Rodriguez, ma'am." "Call me Zariah. Ma'am is for officers, and we're all pilots here. What made you want to fly, Amanda?" "My dad was a Navy pilot. He always said women couldn't handle combat flying. I wanted to prove him wrong." I smiled. "Good motivation. By the time you finish my program, you'll prove it." Marcus's Brennan Method signs came down the first day. They were replaced with the Falcon 1 Aviation Excellence Program. Every student who completes it receives a certificate listing my actual credentials. Not lies, not theft, just earned achievement. Marcus tried to appeal his sentence twice. Both appeals were denied. He'll serve the full 4 years. His wife divorced him. His pilot friends distanced themselves. The aviation community has a long memory for people who endanger students and discriminate. The program I developed is now used by 12 flight academies nationwide. They pay licensing fees and give proper credit. My intellectual property generates steady income while helping train the next generation correctly. Sometimes justice isn't about revenge. It's about standing up when someone tries to push you down and proving they picked the wrong person to underestimate. It's about creating consequences for harmful actions so others think twice. Marcus thought being a flight director gave him power. He learned that real power comes from skill, integrity, and the courage to fight for what's right. He chose arrogance and discrimination. I chose justice and professionalism. The difference in outcomes speaks for itself. Have you ever been told you don't belong somewhere despite being more than qualified? What would you have done in my situation? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.